Okay, we're here at the Supercharger in Collinsville. I have all the destinations pre-programmed as favorites, so it makes it a little bit easier. I'm just going to drive the route and make comments if anything pops up as far as action points and stuff that might go a little bit wrong. So my first recommendation is just get out on this main road, probably manually, just so we don't get stretched out too much. I think, especially if there's traffic, it could just kind of be a little bit of a delay for us all to get out here at once. So, just recommendation. And then once we're on the main road, get it turned on here. So this first route's pretty easy. It takes us out to the Cahokia Mounds Museum. There really shouldn't be a whole lot go wrong, hopefully. But of course we'll play it by ear. I've actually been having really good performance today. I've driven a few times, and I've been pretty impressed today. It's been a lot better than typical. Okay, so this is a turn-only lane here, and the potential issue is if there's traffic turning this direction from that road there could be a potential conflict right here because we might swing. That was pretty good, but sometimes it will swing over the center line. It'd be pretty uncomfortable if you're merging directly into a car, so be careful about that one. Bit of road debris up here in the other lane, not a factor. Okay, so we're approaching our turn up here. There is a dedicated turn lane that we should get into, and then make a left turn here across traffic. This road typically isn't too busy, so we'll see what kind of traffic we deal with tomorrow. It's a Nice job getting in the turn lane. A little bit aggressive on the brake pedal. That red car is coming up pretty quick. The car appropriately waits, and I call that a pretty good turn. That was actually really good. So, pretty easy drive to warm up, and now we're to the museum here. So I'll cancel the nav and go to FSD2, which is the world's largest ketchup bottle. What we'll do is we'll stop up here in the parking lot behind, and probably just kind of have a little 60-second meetup just to make sure everyone's on the same page for the next one. So watching this guy here, really wish it would give more room to pedestrians. That felt safe, but I would have given more room. So yeah, we'll do a meetup in this parking lot just for 60 seconds or so, and then actually I'll stop here just to make it quicker, and we'll discuss the next waypoint, anything we saw, stuff like that. So I'll do this manually just to get us back on the correct route here. And let it recalculate. If you haven't noticed yet, self-driving doesn't really like recalculating with it on, especially if it changes your route significantly. We're on the existing route, so it should be fine. But if you change your route and there's like a turn coming up within 200 feet or something like that, it'll typically miss it in a pretty aggressive way. Okay, so we're on the second leg now. This is taking us to the world's largest ketchup bottle. We have a right turn into traffic here. Cross traffic does not stop. So watch this one. Do what you want. I don't know, typically I'll give it a little bit of time. If there's a big gap and it's not taking it, I'll tap the accelerator to get out. Right now, there's cars from the left. People are trying to cross. We should have a pretty good vantage point. Okay, there are no cars, but there are people crossing. But now there's a van that's pulling out, but they're going to cross the road. So it's clear to go right now. And okay, it did that by itself. There's a pothole here that we just missed. And now we're on the main road. So I think it's going to be pretty quiet for the next little bit here. However, once we cross under the interstate up here, it's probably going to try to change lanes through the intersection. It's your call on if you want to disengage or not. I think I probably will, just because that way it will flag the data as something that's kind of inappropriate to do. Pretty sure that's illegal to change lanes in an intersection. Most likely we're going to get into the left lane here. Don't ask why. Yep, here we go. So we're getting in the left lane. It's just kind of weird because we're going to be back in the right lane here in a little bit. Okay, nice and easy. Yeah, so this route that I've chosen isn't particularly difficult. Okay, so we kind of stopped a little bit more than necessary there. This isn't a particularly difficult route, although there are a few holdups here in a mile or so. It's just kind of a fun, generally relaxing drive. I really like how Full Self-Driving handles traffic cutting in front of you. It doesn't jab the brakes like regular autopilot does. It does a pretty good job of predicting that they're going to be clear of your path. Okay, so this intersection, I think it's this one up here, maybe the next one. It's probably going to try to change lanes in the middle of the intersection, which is dangerous, especially with traffic coming on this on-ramp. I think it's actually the next one. Nope, it's this one. So I'm going to disconnect, just to help flag the data, and turn it back on. Now we'll let it get over there. There it goes. So, I mean, that's pretty much my experience with Full Self-Drive at this point. Yeah, of course it can get you in some pretty bad situations if you're not careful, but generally speaking, most of my disengagements are stuff like that, where it's just kind of a nuisance disengagement. There aren't really too many situations where it really puts me in danger anymore, compared to the old versions. The old versions, like back in November, December of last year, some of those were just flat out crazy. I mean, they would drive you straight into a wall. I mean, I could have 10 disconnects in a minute sometimes, mostly with trying to pull out into traffic. It would just straight up lunge out in front of cars that were clearly visible. Okay, so right turn here, this should be pretty straightforward. We have a green light. Oncoming traffic there, shouldn't be a problem. Okay, very nice. Okay, so the next thing that's going to happen is up here, there's some paint that's faded. This paint's good here, but there's paint up in about, I'm not sure, a half mile or so, that's quite faded, and it's going to most likely kind of gently go over the travel area. There's nothing really wrong or dangerous about it. It's just not probably the most correct way to do it. So once again, I'll probably disconnect with a steering wheel disengagement just to flag the data. I think, you know, if you don't disengage with the wheel, they're probably not going to get that data. So really the brake pedal and the steering disengagements are what is going to flag the information. And hopefully someone can look at that and figure out why. Yeah, so this next turn up here, this pavement kind of changes color. I think it's the next little bend up here where that black car is now. You can see the lanes are fading. Yeah, right here. So it's going to kind of put us in towards the turn lane. And it's going to make a liar out of me, which is great. Good. So in times past, it's gone into the turn lane on that. But that was fine. So could be the sun angle, just a little bit different contrast with the lines. However, it will probably do it again on this next turn up here, from my experience. And if it does, I'll disconnect. The lane also widens out here, so people might do that. Okay, yeah, I'm going to disconnect there. Nothing dangerous, nothing scary, just flagging the data. Okay, the lane does widen out here, so something to watch out for is making sure no one tries to kind of make two lanes out of one and sneak in from behind you. If we're all on a line, it won't be a huge deal. But yeah, up here it starts widening. The car will probably kind of fill the lane somewhere in the middle, I would guess. So we're driving probably a little bit further left than I think most people will. The traffic behind me seems happy. Okay, so this next one here, this is where the most dangerous thing is, so I'll talk about it real quick. We're going to turn right on this alley. The speed limit's 15, the car's going to want to go 25, so it's clear. So what I'm going to do is immediately spin this down to like 10. 10 feels pretty appropriate here. Okay, back to 25, and there's 10. So it wants to go 25, which is too fast. 10 feels appropriate for this alleyway. And the thing is, it's not going to stop up here, okay? This is the most dangerous part of the whole drive, is this thing here. These cars do not stop, we don't have a stop sign, and the car is going to keep on rolling. So I'm going to hit the brake here. Also, there could be pedestrians, so brake pedal disengagement, simple, and then FSE back on when it's clear. Once again, that kind of caught me off guard the first time it did it. I've done this drive, I think, 3 or 4 times now. I'm prepared for it now, so it's not a big deal. But that's definitely the biggest, most dangerous part of this drive, is the car wanting to do that. But as long as we're all aware of it, it's no big deal. Okay, now's where it gets more fun. So we're in residential streets here, which, in case you haven't noticed yet, Full Self Drive is amazing at residential streets. It does a really, really good job on residential. But up here it's really hilly. Lots of twists and turns and hilly. It's probably going to drive more towards the middle than I think most people would, which over these blind hills is not ideal. There's a really sharp one here that's blind, so be really careful, make sure there's no oncoming traffic, and be prepared to obviously take yourself to the right. Okay, I'm kind of leaning, okay, that's way too far. I didn't like that. That was worse than I've seen in the past. So I couldn't safely clear over that hill, and I wanted to be over on the right side of the road. I think that's the first time I've disconnected at that particular place. It was just a little bit more egregious than times past. Same thing here. Give this guy some space. Give this guy some space. And then I'll snapshot that, since that was kind of a sequence of bad events there. Okay, of course I got a car behind me wanting to do like 40 on this road. Okay, and then the next thing is going to be a right turn here. Okay, there's a car. I'm going to disconnect again. And another blind hill here, so really not comfortable how it... Okay, we're off towards the right, which is nice. That was pretty good, actually. Okay, this right turn here, it's not blind, but the visibility is limited until you creep out a bit. I've had good luck with it. So it is clear left. Extremely good. I hope this guy's not following me, but he is. So here's the big one up here. A lot of cross traffic. It'll be Sunday afternoon, so I'm not sure how much cross traffic there will be. In this situation, when I have someone behind me, I don't want to mess with it. I can tell they want to go fast. So you know what? I'm going to abort here and just let them get past. Because I knew they were in a big hurry. Okay. Okay, so from the left, you can only see about 100 yards or so, maybe less, just based on the way the road curves. So we're mostly clear to the right. Okay, we're clear if we go now. Okay, there's traffic from the right, but this is fine. So it found the gap and it made it. And the waypoint, oops, the waypoint I put on the cue sheet takes you down there, but this is actually where we're going to kind of rally up for our next little journey here. So I'll cancel that. I'll put in my third waypoint. There's a guy over here. Human pilot's having troubles. And let him get out of the parking lot. Okay, so I had a weird situation last time I was driving this, where the navigation clearly said to make a right turn, not here, but this next one, at this main road. Navigation clearly says right, but the noodle was going left. I'm not sure what that deal was, but this looks correct now. Okay, we have pretty good viz to the left. This right turn. A little bit of traffic, including a police officer. Okay. That was me on the accelerator. It kind of committed before it should have, with some traffic that was coming a little bit faster than I think it thought. So probably the appropriate action really would have been a brake pedal disengagement to kind of tell it that was wrong, rather than overriding with the accelerator. The problem is you never know how aggressively it's going to accelerate. You've probably already experienced it. Sometimes it really gets on the gas. And if it would have got on the gas aggressively, it could have made that fine, but it was, for whatever reason, it was really gradual and gentle on the accelerator. So I had to feed in a little bit extra to help it out there. So it's kind of a problem when it's inconsistent, because you never know, is it going to accelerate aggressively or not aggressively? The thing is, you don't want it to be consistent, because sometimes it needs to be more aggressive and sometimes less aggressive, but there's no indication for what it's going to choose. There's not like a little, aggressiveness scale or something. Okay, so this last segment here takes us to the baseball field. Pretty straightforward drive. Just kind of through downtown Collinsville. Okay, this guy acts like he's going to turn, and he is. Really good. I haven't had any trouble on these surface streets up here. A lot of kind of big sweepers like this one that aren't well marked, but it does great typically. Happy with that. And a yellow light. So I have to admit, for all the shortcomings of full self-drive and how it isn't perfect in a lot of situations, it sure is nice having the traffic light control where it will automatically stop and resume. It's really nice. pedestrian. Car seems like it has sometimes a half second to a second of delay after things are clear. I'm sure that they're just biasing it to be cautious. Of course, I'm driving the speed limit right now. Everyone else wants to do at least 5 to 10 over that. Okay, another sweeper of a turn here. Kind of slowed down a little bit during that turn. As we're getting towards the end here, overall, Full Self Drive, I mean, there are still problems, but from my observations over the past 10 months I've had this, it's definitely improved a lot in a lot of areas. There's still room to improve, of course, and quite a long ways to go. But from my vantage point, I think it's kind of beyond obvious that this solution can and most likely will work with more development. As far as the cameras go and the whole system they've developed. It just seems it's really good. When it's good, it's good. And of course it's bad in a lot of situations. And there might be solutions to that in the future. Okay, we don't want to be over here, so I'm going to cancel that. There's no reason to be, because we're turning right. So there's little things like that. And I'm going to do it again. So realistically, what it's going to do, I've done this in the past. I let it do it. It's going to get over, and then it's going to immediately get back in this lane. So who knows? Like, what's up with that? No. I don't get it. Oh. See, okay, now we're turning right here. Cool. Okay, so I don't. In the past, I think I let it do it, and then it changes back into the right lane. That's just weird. Maybe tomorrow I'll let it get in the left lane, and then let it screw up. Okay, so here's a trash can. This four-way intersection up here is the one that we're going to be doing the four-way intersection exercise at. Not a whole lot of traffic, although there is some. So this intersection here will take, we'll put someone from each direction, or multiple cars if we have more than 4 people, and try to make a left turn through this intersection at the four-way stop. So this is the stop here. Here's the ball course. Hopefully people can kind of watch from there. Anyway, so yeah, that's the drive. And then the parking lot up here is where we'll kind of rally up, and hopefully all the spectators, if there are any, can meet up and park up here. So yeah, that's the drive. We'll be safe, we'll be cautious, we'll have fun, and hopefully learn something. Not sure if there's ever been a group of self-driving cars this big assembled before in the history of the world. Although who knows what Tesla's doing internally. Anyway, it's gonna be interesting, it's gonna be fun, so we'll just be safe and, you know, disconnect, disengage, intervene as required. Not trying to set any records as far as no interventions go. So anyway, see everyone tomorrow.